Okay, tonight we are going to talk about mood. Now, this says, are you in a bad mood? Talking about mood, it doesn't mean you have to be in a bad mood. That sounds so negative, doesn't it? People have good moods and they have mediocre, and then it can go way down to the bad and depressed or mean or whatever it be. It's different. Yes, and it can go up and down. You can ride a roller coaster, but what we're attempting to do is to be steady as she goes, right? You want to be steady as she goes. And if your mood is that, typically your energy level is that, your sleep level is good, everything is working right, we're balanced. So what we're talking about tonight, even though it is mood, it can affect some other things in your life. So what we're going to talk about tonight is Stephen Horn's Sunshine Sharing. That's the information we're going to go over tonight. Now, I'm going to add my 2 cents, of course, as I usually do, but this is the information, and these are yours to keep here, and we're not going to read every single word, but later when we get through with this class, go home and read the whole thing so you totally understand all the aspects. So it's perfectly normal to feel a variety of emotions, as it says. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you are a person who says, I don't feel anything, I'm numb, that kind of is a place that some people get to with their emotions, but that's not a good place either. So we do want to laugh, cry, get excited, all of these different things. Now, if people get stuck in a particular emotion for a long period of time, this isn't healthy. Now, I've been an herbalist for 33 years, and I'll tell you that in the last 5 that I have never seen so much anxiety in my life with people, men, women, kids, animals, having anxiety issues. I mean, it's been crazy how many people have anxiety issues. And it affects their life tremendously. Their job, their family, just dealing with the public. I see it all the time. And so I know that's why Nature Sunshine came out with that product called Anxious Less, because it was a great need and it works phenomenally well with a lot of people. But it's not just that. My brain goes, why? What is going on? Why is it such a problem nowadays? I do think people don't get enough proper sleep. They don't have that downtime. They don't have that rebuild, restoration time. That's it sometimes. Stress on jobs. The phone is another. That is true. We're on call at any given time, and people will work all crazy hours. You know, some people are having to work more than one job, and this kind of has to do with the government stuff right now, but some people, you know, can't get a full-time job because that requires them giving you insurance and stuff, so you got to work 3 part-time jobs to make the money work, right? Y'all know people like that?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of folks. So that can be very stressful, and anxiety might be part of it. So depression, grief. Grief can be something people can get stuck into, right?
Yeah.
I do have a problem with everybody taking antidepressant drugs for grief. Do y'all know people like that? They lose somebody in their life, and then they get to taking an antidepressant, and the grief, they don't deal with it. But later they want to get off the antidepressant drug, and then they have grief from something that happened 3 or 4 years ago. Because if you don't ever deal with that grief, it'll come back. So it's important to go through it at the time.
And then there's people that have grief and they don't want to let go of it.
Mm-hmm.
That
is absolutely true.
I know a couple of people on Facebook that way.
Yep.
They're constantly talking about a dead spouse,
mm-hmm.
a dead mother, someone who passed away years ago, but they're still holding to this memory and still bring it up and talk about it.
Yep.
You need to shake that.
Yep. We can love people and respect people, but we don't have to dwell in that area. So some of these mood issues and emotions can affect our physical body, right? Y'all agree?
Yes.
So there is also some other areas. There are another 19 million people who suffer from anxiety disorders such as panic, obsession, phobias, post-traumatic stress disorder. And that does not mean you have to have ever been in the armed services. Now, a lot of people are in the armed services that have post-traumatic stress, but you know, I live here. I've always lived here all my life. And a few years ago when we had those really bad tornadoes, you know, I had several clients that came in after that. Most of them like lived in Pleasant Grove in those areas, and they had post-traumatic stress. I mean, they lost everything, and that's very stressful on the body. So, and that does take a minute to recover from, of course. So, how we deal with these mood disorders, unfortunately, a lot of people are taking pharmaceutical drugs, and that's mentioned here, how many billions of drugs address mood. But you've got choices if you want to. Now, I always say to people, I didn't put you on medication, and my job is not to take you off of it. That is up to you. And many people that are already on pharmaceuticals start adding the supplements before they ever stop taking the pharmaceuticals and start to feel more balanced, but then they have something to stand on, a leg to stand on by nourishing the physical body, and then they can slowly wean off with working with their physician off of those pharmaceuticals if they desire. So those are some things we're going to discuss tonight, holistic ways to brighten your mood. The first thing we want to talk about is fuel positive feelings with nutrition. This really goes back to the gut-brain connection. Have y'all heard about that in the last few years? We've been talking about it for years and years, but the things that you see more of, there's a lot more books and all this stuff written about the gut-brain connection. We've discussed that many times in this class before because I've talked about how many people in the news, famous people, died on the toilet. They were taking pharmaceuticals that caused gut issues, constipation issues, and they were having to strain, and many times they died on the toilet. So my cousin died on the toilet, and that is, she had issues, she had drug issues, and they strain, they work on going poopy, and the vagus nerve that connects to the brain, yeah, there is a connection from the brain to your gut. It's called your vagus nerve, and you can die if you push things too much. And that's a bad place to die because what's below you is usually, ceramic tile. And when you fall off the toilet, you're probably going to hurt yourself, right? It's hard down there.
Or if you have a heart attack, you don't even know it.
Yeah. I have a girlfriend, her husband died on the toilet at work, had a heart attack, died right there in the bathroom. Oh gosh, isn't that terrible? So lots of people die on the toilet, and you don't always hear about that, but that's common. So we want to pay attention to our gut. I can hardly get out of here in one single class and not talk about poop, don't you know? But
I don't think you've ever.
I don't think I ever have, that's
Where you
right.
didn't talk about
But
it.
this colon, I've worked with people, I worked with a lady just recently who went poopy right now every 3 weeks. And then I work with people that go every 2 or 3 days. And then I work with people that have diarrhea and go 10 times a day. So it can be anywhere. None of that's right. So one meal should push the meal prior to that through. 3 trains in, 3 trains out is what we're looking for. So if you eat 3 meals a day, that's what you're looking for to happen. And a lot of people go, oh, I'm not doing that. But I'm normal. This is normal for me. Well, when I got into herbs and natural health, normal for me was once a week. I've been doing that all my living days. I came into this world, breastfed baby, going poop once a week. I believed that to be my norm. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. In school, I had a really hard time. I graduated high school with a D- average. I really didn't even think I was going to graduate, but I did by the skin of my teeth. And basically, my counselor in high school said, Rhonda, don't even waste your time taking that test that you take to get into college, because that is not going to happen. You don't need to go there. You have the gift of gab. Do something that you requires communication, and you seem to be a little bit artistic, so, you know, something that you fiddle with your hands, whatever. And I became a hairdresser, and I was really, really good at that right there. But then I started having health issues. So I learned when I started having these health issues about cleansing my colon, and all of a sudden my brain worked. When I cleaned out my colon, my brain, it was like, ding, the light switch went off in my head, and it worked. And then I'm telling my parents, okay, now I'm ready to go to college. Now I can do it. And they was like, you missed the mark. We don't have any more money left, because I was the oldest, and they was already paying for my sister, so I missed it. But nevertheless, when you get this cleaned out, your brain's going to work better, I promise and guarantee. Now, you might have had the problem when you're a kid, or you might have it more now. So if you are having trouble with your brain, look at your gut and make sure everything's right there. Make sure the bacteria is balanced out, the whole 9 yards. It will make a huge difference, and it will affect our mood. Now, Nancy lives with me, and she will tell you that typically my mood don't change too much. Would you say that?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm kind of the same all the time. Now, I have opinions, and I'll spout them out, but mood, I'm not very moody. Even when I was having a menstrual cycle, I wasn't really very moody. But when I was a kid, oh my gosh, my mother would say, some days you just don't even talk to her, you know, because I was more moody then. And man, I had some thoughts. I look back, because I used to write in a journal. I look back in my journal, I used to write about living that I didn't want to no more. That's bad stuff in your brain. But seriously, I really seriously believe it was because I had so much crap trapped in here that would never leave. You know, you're full of it, and you act like you're full of it. You're toxic. Toxic thoughts from the toxic colon. Y'all, there's a correlation, I promise and guarantee. Okay. So this in here talks about the old adage that says you are what you eat, applies to your emotions as well as your physical health. A junk food diet creates a junkyard of negative feelings. There's a lot of correlation, and there's a lot of people that have written information on this. It talks about Weston's Price book on nutrition and physical degeneration. It talks about another book, Why Suffer, by Ann Wigmore, and it reports that there is a correlation between nutrition, mental, and emotional well-being. So check out some of this information, and just also pay attention to this. Have y'all ever had a cold?
Yeah.
Can you think really good when you have a cold? Think about it. Can you think really good? No, you feel like you have this cloud and you feel awful because you're not taking a good deep breath. The oxygen's not getting to your brain, and you feel tired and yucky, and so you're going to act tired and yucky. Well, I know people that have sinus problems 24/7. And if you have sinus problems 24/7, you're not going to be as nice as you could be if you weren't. Seriously, like that. Same exact way if you just feel bad all the time. If you feel bad, you're going to be more apt to act bad. So if you correct your diet, take some supplements, fill in those gaps right there, and you feel better, your mood would just naturally improve. Does that make logical sense?
Yes.
Now, if you say, I don't believe that, well, give it a whirl and just prove it right or wrong. Try it. You never know till you try it. And when I got into herbs and natural health, I had never given it a whirl before. And that was my brain. I said, well, I don't know I believe this, but I'm going to give it a whirl. And when I gave it a whirl, it worked. And I went, okay, well, I'm not stupid. If it works, I'm going to keep on doing it. And that's what I've done for the last over 30 years. So it worked for me. Now, it also talks about linking poor nutrition with depression, anxiety, irritability, antisocial behavior, critical behavior, even mental illness. And I have known people like that. You know, people that get labeled with that thing called schizophrenia, you know? Well, I worked with a guy one time, and I'm not kidding you, that it was night and day with two things: changing the diet and a multiple vitamin. How simple is that? Multiple vitamin. It was amazing. It's amazing what the sun will do. The sunshine will do. Some people, they get down and depressed and they don't want to go anywhere but sit in their dark house or room. You're just going to go deeper into the hole. I knew this guy one time and he was real against what I was doing. And he said, "You're just trying to sell my mother herbs. I don't believe in any of this, and this is all just a bunch of junk." But his mother was real concerned because he was down and depressed. And she was concerned something was going to happen. So I said, "I hear you, so I'm not going to give you any herbs. Deal? So what we're going to do, I need you to do 3 things. So I'm not going to give you any herbs, but I need you to do 3 things." So I asked him to drink half his body weight in ounces of water every day. And he was a pretty big dude, so that was a good amount of water. And then I said, "I want you," he loves to play the guitar, but he was playing his guitar in his room with the black light. And I said, "I need you to play that guitar sitting on the hood of your car every day. That's where I want you to play your guitar, sitting on the hood of your car," because he'd get vitamin D. He would still be doing what he wanted to, but that sunshine and that water and playing his guitar was going to be healing. And it was. And he came back a month later and he said, he gave me a hug and said, "Sorry, I get it. I understand. This is what I needed." Totally changed everything. And his mother was like, "Thank you," because he was going deeper and deeper into a hole sitting in that dark room. Okay? So figure it out if you're trying to help somebody what they enjoy doing and put them in a better place. Walking in the park, whatever it needs to be. Okay. Blood sugar, high or low, either one. Could that affect your mood?
Sure.
So it's a major contributing factor to mood disorders. Rapid rise in blood sugar from refined sugars, caffeine, are followed by rapid drops in blood sugar that leave a person feeling tired, confused, irritated, or even out of control. So y'all ever raised a child? Have you ever given a child sugar? What happens? Now, it can be one of 2 things. They could start bouncing off the walls. We've all seen that. But have you ever seen the child that eats sugar and then gets really lethargic and quiet? Y'all ever seen that?
Mm-hmm.
That's the other end of the scale with their blood sugar going. That's not good either. A kid should be active and moving around and doing its normal thing, but you don't want these teeter-totter things happening like that. Depending on what sugar does, usually sugar is not their friend, but there's natural sweet things we can do, and that's the direction I chose to do myself and with my children and raised them that way. So they had sweet things. It was just natural sweet things. And y'all had class, we had that cooking class the other night and experienced eating some of the natural sweet things that still taste good. They just didn't have all the up and down and around that it was going to do with your blood sugar. A diet of meat and vegetables along with whole grains and fresh fruits while refraining from refined sugar is quite known to be helpful for improving both mood and behavior in schools and even in prison. It has also shown to be helpful in certain forms of mental illness, including what I just said, schizophrenia. So if you're in a bad mood, one of the fastest ways to start feeling better is to start eating fresh, healthy, natural foods. Avoid modern, processed, and refined junk. So if it says the word enriched, don't buy it, because they took all the goodie out of it and refined stuff and put it back in. So that's not what you want to do. And we call it now eating clean, right? You've heard that word. We're eating clean. So if you can imagine it in the Garden of Eden, it's usually pretty good, but the golden arches weren't there, so that's not your friend. So just be thoughtful that a lot of supplements might be needed if you say, "Fish, I don't like fish." Well, we need that good fat, so you might need to supplement some omega-3 essential fatty acids, maybe some flaxseed oil, maybe some fish oil, maybe some krill, depending on whatever you check out for there. Many children and adults suffering from ADD or ADHD can also benefit from some of these good essential fats. We might use DHA. You see DHA added to a lot of baby stuff like formulas and different things like that. It's a good fat for your brain right there, but it works with old people and young people. But now B vitamins and vitamin C are very helpful because they nourish the nerves and the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands can get very mixed signals from the sugar and caffeine. So we might need to tell them they can start working again and that they can calm down. Because a lot of these people that have all this enormous amount of up and down and around during the day, the body is still riding that roller coaster when they try to go to sleep at night. So they may do this all day, but they may do that all night, which keeps them from being able to rest right. So things like Nutricom, that's a product we have. Nutricom, it has all your B vitamins, it has vitamin C, and then it has a few herbs in there too that promotes that overall healing, nourishing of that nervous system. Super algae, now we don't talk about this one too much, but it's a good supplement. It supplies amino acids to aid neurotransmitter function in the brain. Do you know you got neurotransmitters in your brain?
Mm-hmm.
And it helps to stabilize blood sugar and energy levels, especially when you use it with licorice root. If you have cravings for sugar and caffeine, try taking 2 super algae and 2 licorice root for breakfast and lunch whenever you feel that slump in your energy level. Now you might start slow with super algae. It's pretty potent stuff. It is all the algae like vegetables that are protein rich from the sea. So spirulina, blue-green algae, red marine algae, chlorella, you might have heard of some of those. It's all combined together in that super algae. And then we also have spirulina. I use that quite a lot too. So get off your behind and get moving. Now, I promise and guarantee that if you start doing any form of exercise, whether that be walking, jumping on the mini trampoline, which is what Nancy and I like to do, our little twisty that we started doing. Y'all see that little twisty thing on the ladies off Shark Tank that do that little twisty? Yeah, I got one of them.
Does it work?
I love it. It's fun. She does too. It's fun. Now, when I first started doing it, you know, it does not that any of us in here weigh this, but it holds up to 400 pounds. None of us weigh 400 pounds. So people think they're going to fall down, but really it's not hard to balance on that thing right there. And then you just do like you would do the twist when you're dancing. You're just doing like that. But when I first started doing it, I ain't kidding. I thought something was wrong with my kidneys. Right here, it hurts for like a week or two until you get used to that motion. Because I wasn't used to that motion. Did yours do that? You might not have done it. Yours did too. Yeah. You're sore right there.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get used to it and you're fine. So I like it for the price and because it's portable and it's light and you can do it wherever you are. It works on the floor, it works on the carpet, it works on the grass, it works everywhere. So, you know, what's it called? I can't remember.
I don't remember it.
They come in different colors and they're about $40 or whatever they. Yep, I like it. So we need to exercise. Everybody needs to exercise. Now, I could take a raise of hands and find out who does right now, but if you're not, you need to every single day. It's 3 times a week. I think you need to do it every single day. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you want to go to the gym, go for it, but you don't have to. I don't like the gym. It's fine. If you like it, fine. I don't like the gym. I don't like nobody watching me. I like to do it myself. And I have all this stuff, way too much stuff. I have all kinds of exercise equipment in my house. It's ridiculous how much stuff I have. But I love doing different things at different time frames. And that's my preference to do it that way. But you got to do what works for you. And if the gym, Leon loves the gym. He likes going. And you got to find what works for you and do it. Go to the dog park. If you have dogs, go run your dogs, whatever it takes to work for you. Anything is better than nothing, but there's been a lot of proof that that helps to lift depression. Now, it helps for one thing, believe it or not, walking on the grass, connecting with this earth helps you. It seriously does. We need to wear shoes that are flatter, that connect us to this earth. Clarity. Okay? It energizes you. It's really good to walk barefooted, but we got to be careful nowadays with all these chemicals. It's all over the grass and stuff, so don't do that. But it's really good to walk on the grass. And it's also good just to get your blood flowing.
It doesn't necessarily have to be grass. It could be.
That's true.
It could be dirt.
That's true.
It could be gravel. It could be, and it could be a combination of everything. Like I've got out the end of the blacktop, I call it, and they just keep on going down about 3/4 mile. And there was somebody dumped a bunch of old pallets up there, and I thought, and stuff, and I hauled them all down there, about 3/4 mile. And I built myself a rack like this, and then I could put my and I could put some about 4 or 5 pieces of cardboard up there. Get back, I shoot a crossbow at it.
Perfect. And doing stuff like that in between that you enjoy. You know, I love to throw a tomahawk like nobody's business. I love doing that. I love shooting a bow. I love doing stuff like that. And whatever you like to do, I like playing with big boy toys too. I have this little scooter thing. I have, what's my thing?
It's like a unicycle, but it's.
No, but what's my thing that?
Oh, the hoverboard.
No, it's not. It's
The
not called a
hoverboard
hoverboard.
is the.
It is, but is it called a hoverboard? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the
Okay.
one with the wheels on,
Yeah.
that's the hoverboard.
That I got all that stuff because I like it. It requires balance, and it didn't catch on fire, y'all. You know, everybody goes, "Oh, everything's gonna catch on fire." Okay, some of them do, but whatever. I like stuff like that, and doing different things at different time frames is a whole bunch of fun. So whatever it is right now, because I might do things in the summer different than I would in the winter, having to do with going inside, outside, whatever it be. But find what you like. Cleansing. Who in here has never done a cleanse? Raise your hand.
Is that the
Okay.
colon?
It doesn't have to be the colon.
Oh, that's good.
Now, you've got 5 major channels of elimination: colon, kidneys, lungs, lymphatic, and skin. So we could do cleansing on different parts of the body. Like there's a whole bunch of baths, sit in a bathtub, and cleansing you can do with essential oils and Epsom salts and bentonite clay and things like that, that would be detoxifying your skin as well as other parts of your body.
Or like putting an onion on your foot and go to sleep with it. Is that,
Mhm.
is that
That's one option there too. So there's cleansing that you can do using your skin being your largest channel of elimination and putting different things on there. You know, we've talked about charcoal in here before, absorbing toxins, but a lot of people will topically use charcoal. If you go on Pinterest, you'll see charcoal is different facial mask and things like that because it does draw toxins out of your skin. Bentonite clay, we have it in a liquid. It's called hydrogenated bentonite, and you can put that in your bath water and it can pull toxins out through the pores of your skin. I had a lady one time, there was a place in Brookwood Mall that sold a bunch of artificial flowers. That's pretty much what they had, was artificial flowers. So that lady worked in there and she touched them all the time. They got chemicals like you would not believe on them things. And she was absorbing it through her hands. She came in to check, do a consult, and she had all kinds of health problems. And I said, I promise and guarantee it's your job. For you to get over this, I don't know of any other way than you stop working there. I hate to say that, and I hate to say that to people, but it was totally where the problem was. And when she did, and she did these baths and cleaned it all out, that bathtub water was jet black from those toxins coming out through the pores of her skin. And that was what was in her body from her touching it. You know, all it builds up, it accumulates. And the liver gets to where it says, I can't take it no more, and then you might have a health problem. So we want to cleanse, and your grandparents and great-grandparents did cleanse at least twice a year, and sometimes every quarter, every season. They did. Now, they might have tried to get you to cleanse. Did you ever have a tablespoon of castor oil, black drop? Do you ever have anything like that given to you? You might not have had a choice.
Magnesium.
So that was like encouraging to cleanse. And they did it a lot at the beginning of spring, at the end of fall, you know, things like that. They would do it seasonally to help you for the next season. So we've got some cleanses that don't taste like that. A lot of them you just have to swallow capsules, and it's a whole lot easier to do. Now, depending on where your problems are, depends on what you might want to do. And don't do the whole body all at one time, because cleansing actually requires energy. So if you're feeling kind of, you might not do it right now. You might build up before you clean out, right? Some people need, and yeah, there was a fella I was working with, and he was not drinking a whole bunch of water, and he wanted to cleanse his body. And I said, well, the reason I didn't recommend to cleanse is because you're not hydrated. Let's get hydrated first, and then we'll do a cleanse, because you got to have enough water to flush the toilet. And if you're already, you know, a lot of people I work with, they've been drinking like a half a glass of water every day. that ain't gonna get it. We're gonna have to have enough water for this cleanse to, it's just not gonna work. You know, I've had people to take the colon cleanse and say, oh man, that just griped me. And I said, the supplements didn't do that. You're not having enough water is what did that really. So let's stop, let's get hydrated, and then they get back on it and they do fine. So got to pay attention to that. Towhee Cleanse or Clean Start are both mentioned here. They are cleansing to the intestinal system, but one leans more towards the liver, the Towhee Cleanse, and then the Clean Start does work more on the gut. And we have two different kinds of Clean Start. We have mild, and then we have the regular one. And so if you say, well, I pretty much go to the bathroom every day or at least every other day, and I have a lot of people answer it like that, then you might do the Clean Start mild. But if you say, well, I go every 3 or 4 days, then we're going to do the regular. So the regular is just a little bit more cleansing. And then heavy metal detox are regular capsules, and you wouldn't just do this for a short period of time. You would do this for a longer period of time, especially if it's a job that you've received a lot of heavy metal toxins. And I did. I was a hairdresser. I had chemicals. You might have had environmental chemicals from your job. And when I do a consult, we talk about jobs. People might think, well, golly, she is so nosy, asking everybody what kind of job. But I do that because I want to figure out, are you exposing yourself to toxins on a regular basis? Because some people have been doing that for so long, they don't even know. They hadn't even thought about it. Cutting hair, dealing with perms and colors, that's a toxic job. Pumping gas is a toxic job. Being a mechanic is a toxic job.
If you color your hair, like, is that a bad thing?
Let me answer it this way. If you want to color your hair, go right ahead. But are those natural? No. Now, there is henna and some stuff that is natural, but that's not what most people use. So the hairdresser putting it on needs to wear gloves. If she's not, she's making herself toxic. On your scalp, it will absorb those toxins. And your scalp is right next to your brain. So, you know, people say good or bad about my hair, but this was God-given, and I don't dye my hair because I don't want to put chemicals on my head. Plus, it costs a lot of money to keep on doing that, and it's a pain in the rear to me. I ain't doing it. But whatever you want to do, if you want to dye your hair, that's fine, but you would also want to cleanse your body and help your liver out from time to time. Same way with fingernail polish. I don't wear fingernail polish, never. Now, there's natural fingernail polish at the health food store, but a lot of people wear that junk, and oh my gosh, that's really toxic too. Now, I'm not going to tell you to stop using it. You can do whatever you want to do, but this is why we need to cleanse. I don't like perfume either. And if you date me or marry me, I have a husband, you can't wear cologne or none of that stinky stuff. It's not going to be around me. It's not going to be on me. Now, if you want to do it, it's perfectly fine. But do you need to clean out your body? Because your liver absorbs those toxins. Would you drink that perfume? No, it's not natural. It's chemicals. It does affect your body in a negative way. So cleansing, like we're talking about, milk thistle, we have a combination in the regular milk thistle. Mercury, lead, cadmium, aluminum, all contribute to the breaking down of brain and nervous system tissue. Did you know that right there?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are exposing themselves to this all the time. Some of it's in pharmaceutical stuff you do. Some of it's in vaccines. So think about it. Was anybody in here in the service? Did you get any vaccines?
I don't even know what I got.
That's right, and that's what most people say. Don't even know all the stuff that I got.
Go through the line and you get it in both arms.
That's
4 or
right.
5 times a piece.
Mm-hmm. So, would you want to maybe detoxify your body of some of that? Plus, I have never met anybody who was in the service, whether they were in battle or not, that weren't exposed to toxins. Like my husband was in Vietnam, where a lot of people were exposed to Agent Orange and, all kinds of junk. So chemicals. It don't matter if it's 20 or 30 years ago. I promise and guarantee the people that I work with on a regular basis that have neurotransmitter issues, Parkinson's, ALS, and I work with a lot of those people, they didn't get that stuff recent. They were exposed to those chemicals growing up on the farm or when they played ball, long time ago, 30, 40 years ago. But now the nervous system is having an issue. So think about it. We need to cleanse the system.
My friend, her husband, her dad worked at U.S. Steel,
Yes.
and he started having problems like, not being able to turn the key and,
Yeah.
and forgetting to, budget for the bills and everything.
Right.
And he ended up having Lewis Harris disease.
Yep. They lose that little muscle thing right here in between. This right here goes flat. That's one of the first places that people notice it. So it affects them being able to open up a jar or, whatever it be. Yep. So cleansing, we all need to do it. Y'all hear me on that?
Yep.
Okay. We got a lot of different choices. They're not all listed here. We have ParaCleanse. We have Detox Basics, and Detox Basics isn't going to affect the bowel a whole lot. That's one if you go, I'm a goal fine. I don't want to do too cleansing. Can I take this cleanse when I'm working? I get asked that question all the time. So Detox Basics is a good one, and that lasts about a month. I like that one quite a lot. But we do have other things as well. And so just check out all the cleanses that we have. And if you say, well, I'm not sure which one to take, talk to me. I'll ask you a few questions. We can figure out the best one for you. There is one called a dieters cleanse, and some people, if they're wanting to lose weight, that's a good one to do sometimes. Okay, facing fears. Fear and excitement are closely related. Both get adrenaline pumping. The difference is the perception. So in fear, we are concerned for our safety. In excitement, we're skirting with danger, but feel we can handle it. This means that healthy adrenal glands can help us face our fears. But I rarely meet people that have healthy adrenal glands. I meet a lot of people that need to nourish their adrenal glands, mainly because of sugar and caffeine. They just worn them slap out. So some things we can do to nourish the adrenal glands, they are closely related. They sit right on top of the kidneys. So a lot of times we nourish the kidneys, we nourish the adrenal glands. They're related to each other. So we have a combination of herbs called KBC. It's a Chinese combination, which helps strengthen kidney energy or qi. And it can help a person emotionally to have more of a backbone. Stand up for themselves.
So core would be the same thing,
Yes,
right?
core
Because
would be
core
the
does that.
essential oil, yes. And you might apply it right there in the adrenal area.
All right.
And now, I'm pretty good at standing up for myself most of the time. But when I was a kid, I was the biggest crybaby you ever met in your whole entire life. I cried all the time. Because people tease you, when you're just went out. But I really do believe, like I said, this gut-brain connection, we got to nourish and feed these parts of the body. And that's what I have done. I've done a lot of work on my adrenal glands because they was about to shut down. We also have a product called Adrenal Support. That can be really good too. And licorice root, vitamin C, B complex, all of them things right there are going to nourish those adrenal glands. Now, we got to work on this anxiety issue. Adaptogens bring balance. Whether something's too high or too low, it brings balance. Got a lot of them. Erythro, that's one of those lovely erythro. Nervous fatigue formula, that's a Chinese combination. Nutricom, Chinese stress relief, all of those fall into that category. We have a product called Adaptomax. We have one called Energy V. All of those fall into those adaptogens, bring balance. Now, what you want to do, go to my website, rhondadial.com, click on the words product list, and look all these up separately. One of them's going to stick out to you like, oh, yep, that sounds like what I want to do. Or if you want to do a consult, I'll be glad to test you too. Now, depression is a problem in the world we live for sure. Sadness, stress, and feeling hopeless, trapped in difficult situations can lead to depression. Now, we do have these products that are not mentioned here that are called flower essences. we have a little test. It's in the back of my book. Y'all know I have a book on energy. And in the back of my book, I have a little test that Stephen put this together for Nature Sunshine, and it's the heart's key to emotional assessment. You take this little test, either in here or we have sheets out there too. And when you answer, well, it's not questions, when you fill it out with these statements, when you get done, we know which of the flower essences will be best for you, but it's balancing. You know, anger, grief, and fear are three emotions we all have, but some of us stuff and some of us vent those emotions, and the flower essences are going to bring balance in that area. So in this situation, this can be helpful, as well as it mentions Chinese mood elevator, and that is a combination of herbs that lift sagging qi, and then also it lifts the body's energy or qi while helping to decongest the liver, digestive tract, or lymphatics. And then the cleanse we were talking about a while ago, the Tao He cleanse, that also can work on the temperament as well, because it's addressing the liver, and the liver's where we might hold anger. So when depression is associated with dry skin, fatigue, chills, low body temperature, low sex drive, it can be a problem with low thyroid. That's a possibility. So we do have things to support the thyroid, like a product called Thyroid Support. Black walnut is another one. Balancing serotonin levels in the brain may also be helpful for depression. So you might look at a supplement called 5-HTP. Now, when I'm working with 5-HTP, I usually, on the bottle right there, there's a little yellow box, and it'll say weight, mood, and sleep. So if you say, yep, then you might really look at 5-HTP. But if you don't relate to all them things, there might be another direction.
I've taken it for a while and it really does work.
Awesome, very good. You can tell a difference when you need it. And another one not mentioned here is SAMe. Y'all heard of SAMe before? That's another thought. Irritability. We might look at Chinese liver balance, especially if you have problems with feeling cranky, irritable, angry all the time. It's a sign of congested liver. If you know somebody that acts like that all the time, and I do, if you touch them right here, it's probably hard. So if a guy's got a belly right here and you touch them and it's hard, it don't go like a balloon and give in, it's hard. You know, because where's your stomach, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas? In that general vicinity. So you might want to cleanse that. And it relieves a constricted liver, qi, and helps you to flow more smoothly through life. And you won't be so irritable. Irritability can also be a sign of blood sugar imbalances, regulating the healthy diet we've talked about, licorice root, super algae, that urethro, which is the adaptogen, all of those things may be helpful with that. Confusion. If your blood sugar goes down, you're not going to be able to think right. It just won't work. I went to beauty college down in downtown Birmingham, and I drove through a red light. I know how to drive. I know red means stop, but my blood sugar had dropped, and I'm looking and I see it. I see the red light, but I just go right through it. By the grace of God, didn't have a car accident or nothing, but when I realized what I was done, I knew it's because my blood sugar was low. So if you have these kids in school and they can't think right, and they're going, I'm listening to her, I'm looking at the teacher, I'm not asleep, I'm paying attention, but it just goes in one ear and out the other, it could be related to the blood sugar. And especially if they don't eat breakfast or they eat something stupid like cereal. That is not breakfast. Their blood sugars go up and go right back down. You got to have protein. Protein. Okay. You might also look at the amount of carbohydrates, especially simple carbohydrates a person is consuming. And then if confusion has anything to do with burnout from excessive stress, you know, sometimes you just can't handle no more. And situations where confusion is accompanied by difficulty concentrating, short-term memory loss, restless sleep, fatigue. We might look at a supplement. This is a Chinese combination called nervous fatigue formula or that adrenal support. So y'all go to my website, click on product list, and read up on these things. They might sound interesting. Obsessive compulsive behavior is related to anxiety and can be helped with many different supplements. The ones we just talked about, along with counseling, nervous fatigue formula, and adrenal support might be helpful. I tell you what, that right there, I have had more people that had obsessive compulsive behaviors, again, in the last 5 years than I've ever met. Tons of them. Some of them are very obvious, and other people you never know until you got to know them as well as I do, and then you go, oh my goodness. I have one friend, he can't work a job, never has in his whole entire life, and he's 45 years old, and he's never worked a job. He's on disability. And he has obsessive compulsive behavior. But if you looked at him, he's a nice looking guy. And if you didn't really carry on a deep conversation, you'd never know. Moving beyond mania. Feeling that a person is superhuman and can do just about anything is called mania. Y'all know anybody who has bipolar conditions where they go way over here to manic and then they go way over here to depression? I have those clients too. So you want to eat really good, and you want to pay attention to water, and you want to pay attention to oil, good essential fats, hugely important. Definitely balance out the hormonal endocrine system, real important. They'll have a harder time if they're female going through the change, promise, guarantee. So you want to keep all those hormonal things balanced out. Chinese stress relief is a supplement controlling the excessive excitement and enthusiasm that causes manic people to overextend themselves. Because a lot of people, when they are in the manic, they'll go buy a bunch of stuff, they'll go do a bunch of things, they'll do crazy stuff. And then when they're down, they cry all the time and don't leave the house forever and a day. But we need the balance, and there are things that you can do. Wintertime. Some people have a hard time in the wintertime because they don't get out in the sun and that healing stuff that we was talking about. So vitamin D3 can make a difference. They do have these different lights that are light sunlight if you need that, and then St. John's wort. Now here in Alabama, we really don't have as much of a problem because right now it's been 70 degrees today, and you could have gone out and enjoyed it, and it was gorgeous, right?
You're there.
Yes. So, but certain areas it's much worse, and we've had times when it's gotten bad like that. So try to spend as much time outside in the sunlight as you possibly can. Go to the doctor and make sure your vitamin D levels are proper. They need to be balanced. See where they're at. Blood work's easy to do. And then if it's not up to par, of course, we have a natural vitamin D. Comes from lanolin, like sheep. That's our natural vitamin D supplement. Not all of them are natural. And get your vitamin D levels up to par, because once you find out where you are, take enough and then have it rechecked to make sure you accomplish your goal, right? And that'll make a difference with your mood, but it also makes a difference with you uptaking your calcium, and calcium is the key to your nervous system, so it helps with stress, building your structural system, the whole 9 yards. Okay? Now, anybody got a quick question? We're going to turn off YouTube in a second. Leon?
Yeah, oh no. Yeah, I'm taking liver cleanse, okay?
Yes.
And it's about time that I did a regular cleanse as well.
Okay.
And should I stop that liver cleanse?
I would not do too much cleansing things at one time. So when it's time for us to shift, if you test for something different, we'll stop doing that one and we'll start on something else. Yes.
So just drop it, say, for the 2 weeks that I do this one, and then
I would.
start that.
Because if you read on the herbs that are in the liver cleanse and read on, let's say it's Tauhi cleanse that you might do, a lot of the herbs are the same. So you don't want to.
I was thinking about doing, because I got a lot of other things going on. I was thinking about doing just the mile there. I had just, something to just make sure everything's all cleared out.
Oh, yeah. And we're fixing to get into springtime. This is a good time frame to kind of clean out the winter stuff and get going with the new. Because our diets change They should, or it should change spring, fall, winter, summer, because the foods that are in season, because you are supposed to eat foods that we could pick right here in Alabama. Those are the ones you're supposed to eat. So watermelon, don't eat it right now. It's not in season. It is not your body's friend this time of year.
Is that why I couldn't find watermelon?
Now, you can find watermelon seeds,
They told me
but,
they were out of season.
well, watermelon themselves are out of season. Now, the sprouted watermelon seeds, like we were talking about, are dried already. You're not having to buy the black ones and dry them yourself. They already have the white watermelon seeds that they'll sell sprouted, which are really good. I'll show you. It sprouts.
They said they didn't have them.
They do.
They
I'll
did.
show them. I'll show them to you.
Because I did ask on that.
It's in a red package. Promise and guarantee they're $9.99.
I like,
I can show you where they are. Okay, let's go ahead and turn off YouTube, Nancy. I appreciate it. Go to rhondadial.com. If you want to call the office, 205-733-7000 is the office number. rhondadial.com and look on product list, and you can read on any of the stuff we talked about tonight.
I like the spice.